Question 30, Part B, requires you to analyse reasons why testing for performance-enhancing drugs is done. So looking at the question, we'll address the key term, which is analyse. And the syllabus point that we are looking at here is testing for drugs. Okay, and as I said there before, it's worth 12 marks. So let's have a look at the actual syllabus to see what area this is coming from. And you can see here in this dot point, for the use of drugs, we've got 5 different sub-points listed, one of which is benefits and limitations of drug testing. Now, if you just think back to this question, okay, and I'll just put it there again for you. Analyse reasons why testing for performance-enhancing drugs is done. So we're looking at reasons why it's done. So we're looking at the good things behind drug testing. So that immediately rules out limitations. So effectively we are looking at the benefits of drug testing, which in the context of your syllabus, asking 12 marks on such a small part of the syllabus is quite difficult. But again, like the sports medicine option, this will help you in the HSC if you do get a question on such a small part of the syllabus. It can happen. So this is preparing you for that. So let's now have a look at the marking criteria for this particular question. And you can see here, we've got some suggested answers there, which I'll examine in a minute. But let's just have a look at the actual table. And again, the vital part of this question is the analysis. For you to get the full 12 out of 12, you need to analyse reasons why testing for performance-enhancing drugs is done. If you have not analysed these reasons, then the most you can get, as you can see here, is a 9 out of 12. And that's assuming that you've described at least 4 reasons and done that at a pretty high level. So immediately, if you have not analysed, then you're taking yourself out of the upper echelon of marks and you're putting yourself into medium sort of range, which is not where you want to be. And you can see right down as we get down to 3 or 1 to 3 out of 12, just identifying the features of performance-enhancing drugs or identifying features of drug testing. They're pretty basic type answers. But you needed to have at least 4 reasons analysed for showing why testing for performance-enhancing drugs is done. So let's just have a look at this analysis in the context of this question. So the analysis, when we analyse, we're drawing out and relating implications of things. In this question, we're drawing out and relating implications of why testing for performance-enhancing drugs is done. So what we need to do, firstly, name the reason for testing for drugs, then explain what this reason actually means. Then we analyse by showing why this is a valid reason for testing for drugs. If you have not done this part, you have not done the analysis. So therefore that means you've only described a reason for testing for drugs. You have not analysed the reason. So some potential reasons include to prevent harmful side effects, to ensure fair competition, to ensure rewards go to clean athletes, to uphold the spirit of the sport, and to promote positive health messages. That's just 5 examples. That is not an exclusive list. And if you were able to come up with some other reasons that were valid, and you named them, you explained them, and you analysed them, then you would have gotten full marks, or you could potentially have gotten full marks. So they are not the only 5 examples of reasons. They're just 5 examples that we've come up with. So let's just look at what you should have done with one reason. Up here, we've got name the reason. So we've named it, to prevent harmful side effects. So, and if you're in your answer, you should have underlined that to clearly show that here's a reason. Then explain what this means. Well, what does it mean? Drugs have many harmful side effects, which could include physical effects, emotional effects, financial effects, and damage to a person's reputation. You then need to give specific examples here of these harmful side effects. For example, anabolic steroids can have extreme long-term effects on the person's liver. And other things along those lines. We then need to show why this is a valid reason. And this is the analysis. If athletes are not tested for drugs, this is not protecting them from any of these potential harms. And again, you give a specific example here. For example, if athletes know they're not going to be tested for drugs, then they will use and abuse them, thus putting their physical health at risk. For example, long-term steroid abuse can lead to kidney failure and premature death, therefore decreasing their life expectancy. Something along those lines. So you need to give a specific example. So just recapping on that, you need to name the reason here, explain what that reason means, and then give an example here, of course, and then show why this is a valid reason, followed up with a specific example. And you need to have done this analysis for at least 4 valid reasons to get the full 12 out of 12.